Since the fall of 2016, our department has been working with the Human Resource Department Health and Wellness team to put together some ergonomics assessments for faculty and staff offices. Now, when I say the word ergonomics, it comes off as a big word that many of you might not have heard. And realistically, ergonomics is really simple. It's just trying to match the work with the worker. So from my perspective as an occupational therapist, I'm really looking at trying to get a sense of who the person is, the work that they have to do, and the spaces in which they do that work. So that brings me to our guest today, and that is Care Allen. I did an ergonomics assessment with Care a few months ago, and she's already begun implementing some of the things that we talked about, and we're gonna run through some of the practical tips that you can do even before you talk to somebody about ergonomics. So one of the first things that we look at with people whenever we come into an office is the initial setup of how they interact with their workspace from their chair. And we like to call it the rule of 90s. So the general rule of thumb is you want to try to position yourself to where you have a 90-degree angle at your ankles, your knees, and your hips, and that's going to allow you both comfort and support throughout your workday. So across all of the office ergonomic assessments that I've completed, one of the things that stands out has been the quality of office chairs that are available to faculty and staff here at Grand Valley. The downside has been that many of the chairs are often inherited or are just in the office when somebody takes that space. And there's not really an instruction book for that. And most of the chairs have adjustable seat heights, they have adjustable armrests, lumbar supports, and even tilt options. So the first one is the seat that will go down if you hold the lever down as you're on it, and then to raise it up, you would raise up off the chair, pull up on the same handle. Armrests have the ability to move in, move up. And then one that nobody really knows about in chairs is the ability to adjust the height of your lumbar support. So oftentimes I come in and they're all the way down, and you can raise them up a little bit so that the support's actually above your hip level. So this is the tilt adjustment, and it actually can lock out how much you tip, or you can allow a great deal of tip. All right, so the next tip is something that we like to call micro breaks. The thing to keep in mind there is that our bodies are designed to move. We're not designed to stay in one stable place for 8 hours a day. So I frequently recommend that people find ways to take breaks from their static work position. So that can mean a completion of a series of stretches, getting up and just taking a quick walk, or just moving around, shrugging their shoulders. Throughout the day, I also suggest getting up and taking a longer walk once or twice a day just to get your blood flowing and give your body a break. The next tip is very closely related to micro breaks, and that is really having flexibility built into your workstation. What a number of faculty and staff have been able to do is to modify their workstation through the use of a standing desk, and that really allows them full control over the position that they're going to be using while they work. So the next tip is related to the monitor setup, or really the position of the monitor in relation to you as the worker. So the ideal setup is to have your eyes aligned with the top 3 or 4 inches of the monitor. So if you have the monitor aligned too low, what ends up happening is that you end up bending your neck down and creating a lot of strain on your neck and the muscles surrounding that area. And if you have it too high, you create unnecessary space. So again, you're working in an uncomfortable space. And then the second point related to monitor setup is really how you have your monitor in relation to the window or light source. So you can see in Care's office, she has it at a 90-degree angle from the window, which eliminates some glare and eye strain. If the monitor is facing where my hands are, facing back towards the window, oftentimes you get a point of glare that causes you to lean in, strain your eyes, or maintain an awkward work position. The flip side is if you have your monitor right up against the light source, it's very backlit, and the same thing happens. You end up squinting, you end up leaning in, and you work in a very uncomfortable way. Okay, so the last tip is really related to the concept of reaching for items and trying to maintain everything that you're going to utilize for a specific job task immediately in front of you. And so there's a couple things to think about in regards to that. First and foremost would be trying to, again, we already talked about the chair, but trying to find an alignment between the keyboard and the mouse that keeps you from having to reach repetitively over a distance for the mouse if you use it all the time. Similar to that, if you're doing any repetitive tasks that involve a stapler, a 3-hole punch, even a tape dispenser, try to organize your workstation in a fashion that has a clear workstation that you can work pretty much in the space that your hands can reach when your elbows are tucked to your side, and you don't have to repetitively reach beyond that point.